What's up, y'all? Let's do this.
Oh, hi guys. Welcome to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host, and today I do want to talk about Twitter, and I want to talk about, did Joe Rogan actually nuke Twitter and ended them royally? But before we go any further, guys, if you guys love Nikki's World so much, please, seriously guys, please consider donating a cup of coffee, because for a price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts, guys, you guys help keep this podcast show alive. You guys help me curate more stories and more topics like this to talk about. I do accept Bitcoin donation. I'm also on Locals if you guys want to sponsor and support the show. If you guys love Nikki's World so much, please hit that like, subscribe. Please give me a review, good, bad, and the ugly. And before we get this show on the road, literally, guys, if you guys love this episode and any of my other episodes on Nikki's World, please consider sharing this across all the social media platforms that are out there today. Woo! Okay, guys, got rid of all the formalities, all right? So today, I do want to talk about Joe Rogan and what he did to Twitter. And I want to specifically talk about, did he actually nuke Twitter royally? Did he actually end them royally? Because to me, I think he did. I think he ended Twitter royally. I think like this, Joe Rogan actually ended Twitter so badly that Twitter is, in effect, done. They're finished. They're done as a social media platform. They're done as a social media company. I don't think they're going to last this year because Joe Rogan ended them royally. I think, in my opinion, they're going to wind up being like MySpace, and they're going to be like an echo chamber amongst themselves. Because the way I look at this, guys, Twitter's done. Twitter's finished. They're royally done. I mean, look at what all the big tech companies have done. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. They silenced conservatives. They ran them off their platforms. They said, hey, if you don't like our platforms, build your own. Guess what? We built our own. And now the leftists are having a temper tantrum because they don't like competition. And it's kind of funny I say that, because if the left doesn't like competition, what do you think the automakers are? They're the same thing. You have people who drive Subaru, you have people who drive Fords, Chevys, Hondas, Toyotas, BMWs, and whatnots. So, the left, if you don't like competition, then you shouldn't be saying stuff like that. You know? You say you don't like competition on social media, but you have competition in the automakers. You know? It kind of really defeats your purpose here, guys. It really do, man. It really, really do. But like I said, man, Joe Rogan actually ended Twitter royally. Twitter, in effect, is finished. Their new CEO hates free speech, hates conservatives, hates people who don't speak the approved narratives of the left. And we all know what the narratives are, guys, which are put your face diaper on, take the jab, men can be women, women can be men can get pregnant, men can get periods. Shit. Okay? So that's why conservatives have largely have left those sites. They started up their own sites like Gab, MeWe, Minds, Parler, Getter, you know what I mean, Rumble, and even like other sites like VoiceBand and all that. It seems like this. The left is having a fucking meltdown. They're having a meltdown because they don't know what to do. They don't know like how to compete with other companies. They don't. Instead, they're just circle jerking themselves. They're just circling the fucking wagon, and they're having a hissy fit and a temper tantrum by saying, don't echo chamber. They're saying stuff like this. They're saying white supremacist shit. And it's kind of funny. The left thinks that, sites like Gab, MeWe, Minds, Parler, Rumble, Getter, and VoiceBand, they think it's like a far right site. They think it's basically like a hate site for the far right. I'm like the left does the same thing. You know, look at Twitter. They look at Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. They threw Donald Trump off their platform, but they allow the Iranian president who says death to America and hatred towards the Jews. How is it not hypocrite of them for that? How is it not hypocritical? How is it? To me, guys, the left's in a panic because they've basically canceled everyone, and they're in a panic because they know sooner or later they themselves will get canceled after they canceled every conservative. And you know why? Like Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter nuked Dr. Malone's speech? It's simple, guys. It's because what the interview happened on Joe Rogan's show, the big tech started silencing people. They started going after conservative content. They started going after conservative media. They started going anyone who posted a video of the Joe Rogan show with Dr. Malone. They started going after people for that. And then they went after, and then pretty soon people said, nope, we're done. And then what really made Getter surge was when Joe Rogan said, I'm done with Twitter. Find me on Getter. Next thing you know, Getter exploded. That's the same thing with Rumble. Senator Rand Paul got sick and tired of YouTube censoring people and basically censoring conservative views, but allowing far far left views, or basically insane views, on their site. So Senator Rand Paul said, "Fuck you! I'm going to Rumble. I'm posting all my videos there." So that's why like this. You have alternative social media sites like Gab, MeWe, Minds, Parler, Rumble, and Vero too included, and many others. They're gaining popularity. They're gaining steam. They're gaining influence and popularity because people are fucking fed up. People are fucking fed up with social media. They're fucking fed up with these social media companies because, simply put, guys, simply put, a lot of people are sick and tired of the legacy social media sites. They are. They're sick and tired of being harassed, hounded, doxxed, suspended, deplatformed. They are. And that's why people like me are on these alternative social media platforms. Sure, I still have a presence on Facebook and YouTube, but not much on Twitter. But heck, man, I have a huge presence on alternative social media because I learned to diversify. I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket, like say the YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook. Fuck no! I'm going to diversify my social media presence. I'm going to say, hey, if you want to follow me on my alternative social media platforms, which are Gab, MeWe, Minds, Parler, Rumble, Getter, and VoiceBand. You can follow me on those because you know why? On those alternative social media platforms, we value freedom of speech. We value your right to speak freely without fear or censorship. But when you act like a jackass and a dickhead and all that, that's when we kick you out the door and say, no, gone, bye. But like I said, man, that's why I'm on alternative social media. And also like this, the reason why I'm on alternative social media, if Facebook for some reason don't like my posts and they block me, give me a 30-day suspension, which I give them the family-friendly double-barrel fucking mother finger to their face and say, fuck you. I go to MeWe and go, boom. I can post whatever I want without fear of censorship. That's the same thing. Oh, that's the same thing with like Gab and Getter. I can post stuff that Twitter won't even allow me to post, or I could say stuff that Twitter would have me censored. Pretty much. That's why, guys. I'm not afraid of going to alternative social media platforms. I'm not. In fact, I'm happy for it. I'm glad I go to these alternative social media platforms because I can post freely. I don't have to do these old-fashioned forums or online groups. I can post whatever I want on alternative social media platforms, and I don't have to be fucking afraid of anyone else. I don't have to be fucking afraid for my opinions, views, and beliefs. I don't. I can speak my mind. I can speak freely, and don't have to worry about censorship. I literally don't. Okay? That's why it's like this. Last night on Gab, there was like a tussle between me and a couple of people, like arguing about, why you dissing Getter when we're fighting for the same enemy? The problem is people in Gab aren't fucking realizing this. Is that y'all giving ammunition to the left. Y'all basically falling into the trap of divide and conquer. This is why, guys, We shouldn't be fighting amongst each other. We should be like, okay, there's one faction. We all have a common enemy, which is big tech and the left. Yeah, so we should be fighting a common enemy, not fight against each other. But the problem is, people on Gab want to be more of this, oh, we're more superior to you. But then, how come you don't have people like Joe Rogan on there? Or Melania or Donald Trump on there? Or Don Jr.? Don't know, man. I like Gab because I like their freedom of speech views, but I think some of their people there are too stuck up on the QAnon shit and basically the all these other like white supremacist shit. I just go like this. I'm there on Gab just because I value freedom of speech. I don't care what your speech is, what your views are, what your opinion are. I just sit there and say, hey, I'm glad you got a platform to speak. That's great. That's awesome. That's more power. You see? That's where I'm at. But then you get these people who are so stuck up in their views, who are so stuck up on their like beliefs. I just go with this. You do you, I'll do me, we'll all be happy. That's as simple as that. But like I said, man, Joe Rogan, I think he ended Twitter royally. He basically spelled the end of Twitter. And in my view, Twitter's finished. They're done as a social media company. They are done. There is no way after what Joe Rogan did that Twitter's going to survive. Twitter, in my view, is done. They're going to wind up being like MySpace, which is an echo chamber for the left, the trans cult, the queer cult, you know what I mean? For the sexual fetish, you know what I mean? For sexual kinks. Or for the left and Democrats. That's it. That's all Twitter's going to wind up being. It's going to be basically, in a nutshell, Twitter's going to just be an echo chamber for leftists. They're going to be an echo chamber amongst themselves. Basically, it's like this. It's a circle jerk and an echo chamber. And it's funny how the left says, "Oh, we're afraid that everybody's going to have their own echo chamber." It's like, well, y'all created this bullshit. You know? If y'all stop acting like childish, immature brats, we would have had nice adult conversation, but don't see that ever fucking happening soon. I don't. But like I said, guys, like I said, man, Twitter's done. Joe Rogan ended him. Basically, might as well write their obituary now. If I were some people, I'd start preparing their obituary. You know, just saying, hey, social media was ended by these people because of this, and this. They were ended because their views on this, and this, you know, and they ran out conservatives, and because they ran out conservatives, they couldn't survive on the leftists. They couldn't survive, so the leftists started eating each other out, basically. That's why, guys, I look at it like this. Twitter as a social media company is done. They are, in effect, finished. They will not survive in its form right now. They aren't. They're not going to survive, period. Simply put, guys, Twitter will not survive in any shape or form. They will not. They're done. They're done. I mean, literally, man. I knew they were done, but they were done even more when Joe Rogan ended them. So pretty much, guys, in my opinion, guys, Twitter's finished. Twitter's finished. When Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube got together and they kicked out Donald Trump, that started their march to irrelevancy. That basically started to spell the end of their site. Joe Rogan is doing the same thing, but he's ending them royally. So basically, I can't see Twitter surviving any longer. I can't. But if the left still wants to stay on that site, more power to them, man. More power. If the left wants to stay on there, go ahead. It'll be just an echo chamber amongst yourselves. It'll be an echo chamber for you to speak your mind amongst your own kind. Because then you're gonna say like this: oh, how come we don't have opposing viewpoints? How come we don't have views that are different from all of us? How come we don't have views from these people or these people or these people? Gee, maybe we ran them out, and maybe we silenced them off our platforms. But then now they're speaking on Gab, MeWe, Minds, you know what I mean? Getter, Rumble, Parler, and Vero, and VoiceBand. Maybe that's why. And that's why, guys. Maybe that's why, guys. People are flocking to alternative social media sites. They're getting away from these leftist echo chambers because they're starting to fucking realize that it's a fucking joke. It's like, how can you have a site that you say you believe in freedom of speech, but then you silence people who don't speak, who don't agree to their views, their beliefs, and all that? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't have all the answers, but I just think like this. I just think like this. The big tech days are numbered. It's coming. They're not gonna last long because of how they do things, how they ran things, how they run things. I don't see them surviving anytime soon. I do not. I see them like fading to irrelevancy. I simply do, guys. I simply see them fading away because I know, simply put, they're not gonna survive. They're not gonna make it, you know. The way they're doing this, by running out conservatives and people who don't agree to their beliefs. Yeah. This is why, guys, when I heard that Joe Rogan ended Twitter, I sat there and was laughing my ass off until I peed and I had to change my diaper. Pretty much. I was laughing so damn hard. Okay? I pretty much was. But the way I see it, guys, Twitter is done. The only people who will probably be left are probably people from the far left, probably the trans cult, while sane, normal people like me are on alternative social media platforms, and we're free and open to speak freely. We're free and open to speak without fear of censorship, which I'm like, yeah. But I say this, man. I say this, man. I don't see any future for Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I don't see any future whatsoever. They're done. They're finished. They won't even survive as a social media company. They won't. They're virtually wiped off the planet. Okay? They're virtually done. I don't see them making any headway whatsoever. So that's why it's like this. There is no way on God's green earth that Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter will survive. I don't see it. And the prospects for them are slim to none. There ain't no prospect for them to survive. They're done. They're finished. I don't see them making headway or basically gaining a foothold. I don't. I see them fade to irrelevancy. And that's what happened. And that's what happened today, guys. Joe Rogan, in effect, made Twitter go bye-bye. And basically, Getter, which is, in effect, Twitter's competitor, basically ended them. So they're done. They're virtually finished. Wiped off. Okay? So, anyway, guys, thanks for listening to Nikki's World. I'm Nikki, your host. I will catch y'all soon. Bye for now.